Hello! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to go ahead and go over 10 things that are going to improve your resume. There's going to be 5 do's, 5 don'ts. First thing, I was looking at so many resumes, and so many of them were just black and white. If you add a little bit of color, if you have like a blue as, you know, like your head title or something like that, you don't want to go overboard with color. You don't want to like have everything absolutely color coded, then that's just going to look like a giant mess, and I'm not going to hire you because you're crazy. If you have like 2 colors, you have like a blue and a black or something like that, that one's okay, and it actually makes your resume look nice and, you know, like a little bit, you're a fun person to work with. So that is the first one. The second is a don't, which would be do not have all one size fonts and do not have just one kind of font. So like you want to have your header with, you know, like your name and everything as well. You want that to go ahead and stand out, so you want to have that in like a nice big bold font, and then everything under that as well can be smaller. It should be smaller and more of like a uniform kind of font, but you want the heading to go ahead and stick out as well. The third is a do. Do list any languages that you speak. A lot of people will put bilingual, but they will not specify what their other language is. One of them has to definitely be English because that's what the resume is written in. We live in Texas, so it's assumed that if you just say bilingual, it's Spanish. If you're bilingual, you list out your languages that you can speak as well too, because, you know, sometimes you get people in here who don't speak English or Spanish, they speak some other language, or like Arabic or something. Nobody knows that somebody speaks Arabic until you're like, oh man, there was someone over here, you know, like I could have talked to them. It's like, wow, well, nobody knew that. So go ahead and list out the language that you speak. A language is not computer, what was it, computer programming?
Oh yeah, do you speak, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the computer there?
Yeah.
Yeah, ones and zeros.
Uh-huh.
I speak computer.
Yeah, so a language is not computer skill, yeah, code. A language is not computer code. Do not put bilingual English in computer code. You put computer coding under skills. Just a heads up. Number 4 is going to be a don't, and do not list absolutely everything you have done in any job that you've ever had. If you were a manager, you don't have to list out, you know, like, I delegated and then I went to people's desks and then I did, and like, we do not care about your to-do list. We want to know what are like the major things that you've done. We don't want to know absolutely every single thing that you've done. All right, we just want like the highlights. That's what your resume is.
Kiss.
Oh yeah, yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Number 5 is going to be, we're going to have your certifications listed over your computer skills. So say, okay, so I work in insurance, so I have a life insurance license. You say, you know, you go with a company, you've been with that company before, so that you're certified to work with that company, which basically says that, you know, like all of the other things, like all the computer programming and everything that you're going to use, I already know how to do. You don't have to list out absolutely every single thing. Things like Microsoft Office or whatever, though, that are more general, you do want to list those out as well, because everyone uses them, and it's not something that's specific to one company. You can list out those computer skills, but you don't have to be like, I work at, you know, like Allstate, so I know how to do all these things, but I work at State Farm, and, you know, like, and I know how to do all these things. You just say, I'm certified to work with Allstate computer programs, or I'm certified to work with State Farm computer programs. Number 6 is going to be a do, which is do add all your contact information. There have been some resumes that I've looked at, and they have their name, and they have everything else. They do not have a contact phone number, and they did not have an email. Or some would have, you know, like just a contact phone number but not an email, which I just kind of found weird, and I don't know how I'm supposed to get in contact with you through email because I'm sending emails out to people. So you're looked over. So you want to add in your contact information. Number 7, do not write your resume in paragraphs. Do not do that. Like I said before, these are going to be your highlights. So you're going to have, you know, like your job and then like the skills that you learn from that job. You do not write, you know, like, this is my job and this is exactly everything that I did, and I was in charge of this, and then I was in charge of that, and then I was in charge of this, and I was in charge of that. And you write it in one big paragraph. I do not feel like reading all of that. Sometimes I have to, but I really do not want to. So please do not do that. to me. Do not do that to you, because some people will just see that and they'll just be like, you clearly cannot even put a resume together. Why would I hire you? Number 8, keep it a fun format. Like I said, so you have your, like who you are, and then you have, your job. Then you have the things under that. Keep it to where it's not looking like it's just completely boring. That doesn't mean have it to where it's like, oh, like there's no uniform and it's just like gonna be like super fun and super funky and blah, blah, blah. No, like you want to have a uniform to it, but you want to have it to where it doesn't look just like, ugh. You have the top, and then you have this, and then you don't just like list things like straight under like that. You want to bring them over, bring them down, and everything as well too. Subdivide kind of different things as well. There was one resume that I saw and it looked kind of weird because it was a everything had rectangles, but it didn't look like it was done on purpose. It looked like they didn't know how to fix it, so they just kind of left it like that. So that one looked more like it was a mistake, and that was not a fun format to look at. Number 9 is a do not. So do not have your opening statement as just a super generic thing. All right, I understand cover letters are for more specific things, but your opening statement should be something pertaining to the job that you're applying for, not I'm looking for somewhere to utilize my skills to the best of my ability, and that's it. No, you want to be like, these are the skills and everything that I have, and I feel like this job would be good because, and then you just put in like not even a whole sentence after that, and it just really makes the difference in your resume. Number 10 is a do not, which is misspell or not capitalize things. There was one resume that I was looking at particularly where she was like, I was in charge of this, but every time she wrote I, it was lowercase, and not everything was spelled correctly on some resumes. And that just really sticks out as a lack of attention to detail and just sloppiness and laziness. So there's that as well too. So those are the 10 tips to help build your resume and everything as well too. And then a bonus tip for after your resume looks amazing and they go ahead and schedule you for an interview, please show up to the interview. There's a lot of notes actually. Okay, so I had like the resumes and there were notes and everything made. Some of them were like, this person is a no call, no show, or they scheduled for this time and then they never came to the interview. But the one that stuck out to me the most was a sticky note on the person's resume. They were scheduled for a 10:30 interview, and the person had called after the interview because they didn't make it. They called after the interview and said, sorry, I overslept. It was a 10:30 interview. If you cannot be awake and to a business by 10:30, do not bother applying. Those are my tips for a good resume, and I hope these helped, and I will see y'all later, guys. Bye.